Good morning, Lunatics, and welcome to Morning Java, presented as always by GetGo, where, Lance, I don't know if you knew this, but you can get coffee made with real espresso beans. You can get it frozen, you can get it hot. It's made in an Italian espresso machine. This stuff's legit, unlike the Pirates pitching to start this one out.
The coffee sounds good. The Pirates pitching wasn't good. Chad Kuhl, Matt, really good for the last 7 weeks or so. Completely implodes against the Diamondbacks. 8 earned runs, didn't even last 3 innings. Worst start of the season, and of course, you're facing a first-place team. It's going to be hard to come back after you're down 8 runs.
Yeah, it was tough for the Pirates trying to come back on this one, and I don't know, man. They never really had it from the start. It was one of those games where when you see Cole give up, it wasn't even just the long ball to start. It was the long balls that didn't leave the yard. You know, starting off with the ground rule double and John Jay just absolutely tearing the Pirates apart at this moment.
He got crushed. It's not like there was any weak contact. They hit him hard the entire time. Talking to him afterwards, he thinks that he might have been tipping his pitches, which I guess he did earlier in the season.
And he wouldn't be the only one.
Yes, he's not the only one. By breathing heavily, where when he's throwing a fastball, he puffs his cheeks. When he's throwing breaking balls, he doesn't puff his cheeks. Something he did early in the season. They're not sure if that was the case tonight. Justin messaged the assistant pitching coach was going to watch film to see what it was, but when it's a pitcher saying, well, either he's tipping his pitches or he doesn't know what happened, that can be kind of concerning.
And we've seen Chad Kuhl kind of overthrow the fastball when he gets into trouble too. So,
Matt, Starling Marte is looking like Starling Marte. He wasn't looking like that for the first few weeks off the disabled list, and really the last week and a half, it's been picking up. He's been hitting the ball the opposite field. Promising, because nobody else is really hitting, and they need him to be the catalyst. I don't know if anybody else noticed, but when he went on the disabled list, that's when the offense just tanked. He was... Well,
except for the one guy.
He was the engine that made it go, yeah. But Austin Meadows did well at first, but when obviously the rookie starts struggling, there just hasn't been that guy there. And now Marte's hitting for power. He's doing really well. He's drawing walks again, so it's going to be encouraging.
Yeah, his numbers were MVP-like, where he was putting them all up across the board before the injury. Now, he comes back. Like you said, he was struggling. Yeah. It's really good to see him getting going. He gets the run in. It was actually Meadows. He drives in today, and it was his 800th hit and his 300th RBI in the league. So, not a massive milestone, but a fun little one.
I'm not saying you should just bench Gregory Polanco. Still a talented player. He has a spot. He has a lot of upside. I think he's an average major league player, but I really like Meadows batting second in the order, followed by Marte, and then whoever you had batting cleanup. Right now it's Colin Moran. We'll get to that in the next segment. But those two, Marte and Meadows, I just like the way their at-bats feed off each other.
Yeah, and we saw Meadows go 3 for 4 last night. And, like you said, Marte fed off of that, drove him in. It was those two manufactured a couple of the runs, and they only scored 3 of them.
Both of them see a lot of pitches. Their splits work so nicely because Meadows is hitting lefties really well. Again, righties too. Marte, more so against righties, which is against his career norm. The lefties, he's hit some power, so I like it. I like the way that it's kind of moving there, and when Corey Dickerson gets back from family emergency leave, I think Clint Hurdle has a decision to make with how much you play Austin Meadows compared to Gregory Polanco. Matt, Colin Moran's the cleanup hitter. Do you think I was ever going to say that sentence this season?
There was always a chance. There was always a chance.
Maybe if Josh Bell got hurt, but I would never think that Josh Bell performed so poorly in that spot that you would move him out. Now, the walks are coming for Josh Bell. The hits aren't, so maybe there's some encouraging signs there. He's seeing more pitches, but I like what I've seen from Colin Moran at the cleanup spot. He's getting on base. He's doing some things. The power hasn't been there every game, but he's got 2 home runs in 9 games hitting cleanup, so can't really complain with that because his team's not hitting home runs right now.
He drove a ball to the wall for an RBI. He's just making really, really solid contact, which is the kind of stuff that we saw from him at spring when we're thinking, man, maybe this guy's actually going to hit a lot of home runs, and then we didn't really see that throughout the spring game schedule. Well, now he's doing it, and a lot of his production's been on the solo side of things recently until he's moved up into this 4th spot in the lineup. And sometimes you see that the guy kind of plateau or fall off there when they're moved into that. Not Colin. He's still just moving the ball well. The
approach is the same. He's still getting really solid contact, and I think that his production is much higher than what his stats might show you. Last night is a great example, just hitting the ball to the wall. That's a home run in some ballparks, or if he just doesn't hit it to center field. He's had a couple of those this season where hits it to the deepest part of the ballpark, but Again, this is a move that you got to kind of commend Clint Hurdle for, because it is kind of a gutsy move. You move Josh Bell out of the cleanout spot after you were adamant about not doing so for the entire spring, and you put a rookie there. And the rookie's producing so far, at least in the interim, until Josh Bell can figure some things out.
Yeah, the nice thing about Colin Moran, too, is that, yeah, he's a rookie, but mentally, he's been around the game and he's been around the big league guys a little bit longer than the rookie status really indicates. So he's kind of like a Matt Murray rookie in some regards.
The bullpen didn't allow any earned runs. Another sentence you didn't think I'd say all season, right?
Well, they got a guy back. He threw.
Richard Rodriguez was in. Steven Brault walked 4 guys. Still didn't allow an earned run. Talked to him about it afterwards. Apparently he was just speeding up and then kind of slowed himself down. So, again, I mean, I think that this is what the bullpen's just going to be. I think they're going to have their rough stretches. They're going to be really good at times because they're just a bunch of young guys in new roles, and they're just kind of learning as they go. A lot like the pitching, the starting rotation was last year with Tyone, Kuhl, and Williams.
Yeah, sure. I really like the way that that both Brault and Glasnow, even though he wasn't featured last night, the way that those guys have been able to kind of make a name for themselves as guys who were expected to be part of rotations at one point, and especially Glasnow, but really just becoming kind of dominant relievers at times. Both of them have had that game where they give up a few runs, especially Brault.
Which I think that's natural. You have a couple of those.
But I mean, he got around the walks. He got out of a jam, and he kind of cruised through the rest of his appearance there.
I still think the problem is they don't have an 8th inning guy. They really don't have that 7th inning guy. Again, gambling on George Kontos didn't work out. Hindsight's 2020. I would have gone out and I would have, if I was a general manager, I would have went and signed another reliever. But for the most part, Edgar Santana, I think, will be fine. They've got pieces there that are encouraging. It's just that they're going to need somebody to make that big jump and take hold of that 8th inning. But again, you need a lead to even have that matter.
No, and you need somebody that when they do jump ahead and say, hey, I want this, if they get blown up for an inning, because it's going to happen,
it's going to happen.
They have to be able to, just be able to continue and go back out there in the next game and just pound the strike zone and get the outs and be that guy.
And I don't know if they have anybody like that quite yet, but I guess we'll see. And Matt, I think we need to commend the grounds crew here at PNC Park for the work they did following, what was that, Wednesday night? Jeez, I'm losing track of it. Wednesday
the tunnels are
game.
still wet, by the way.
They were here all night, from what I was told, to clear this place out. So again, these guys right here deserve more credit than they receive. And Matt, it's been fun. Do this again sometime, and thanks for watching.